Um, okay, let's start. Uh, before going to start today, let me discuss an overview what we have discussed in our last session. So I think day before yesterday, I think we are discussing about the match properties, match specification properties, and we are discussing about this window, whatever the properties here we have. So we are discussing about those properties. So we have seen blocking columns and we have seen match commands. We have seen the cutoff values. What is blocking command and what is the use of specifically to specify the blocking columns, and what is the use of the match commands, and what is the use of the cutoff values and all those things. So today we are going to discuss about the other few things whatever we have here, and then we can start designing the match specification, and then we will use that match specification in any of the job, and we'll see how the report is looks like, and then we can discuss about that report. Okay. So here are a few more things is like this is we discussed about this is a kind of input which you need to give to the match specification, a kind of metadata, and in high pass actually you're going to select what type of match specification you want and all those things. There are few other properties which we need to discuss, that we can discuss when we are adding the blocking columns match comments. Then you will see few more thing here. In add we have a lot of options. In add we have another set of options that we will see like once we start adding the columns to the blocking columns and match comments. Before that I just wanted to cover few important things whatever we have in the window here. So here add pass, remove pass, test all passes we have, right? So add pass is nothing but this is one kind of pass. If you want to add another one, what you can do is you can simply add. You can go to the add pass and you can select the pass. So it will automatically add here in this area, whatever the area you're seeing here. So in this area it will add it. So like that, how many passes you want, you can simply select all those passes here. If you want to remove any one of the things, just simply select it here. If you go to the remove pass, it will remove that pass. And test all passes are nothing but like if we have more than one pass or even a single pass, like basically what we will do is once you are done with your match specification, you can save it. You can do the provisional is always common here also while you are doing the, or if you do any kind of changes to your rule sets, usually we will do the provisional and then you will use that rule set as part of the standardization stage, right? In a similar fashion, once you're done with the match specification, you simply provisional and use this match specification from the stage, whatever the stage we have for these matches, unduplicate match stage or preference match stage. So once you use this rule set inside a job and once you run the job, then you can see the report, how the report looks like. That means how many records are falling under one group, like matched records, non-matched records, and nearest matched records, kind of thing you are seeing, right? So instead of that, there is one more way to test it. Instead of going to the job and calling this match specification inside the job and run the job and to see the report, instead of that, here we have the test all process information, right? So once you click on this one, you can test this report, whatever the specifications you have defined it here. So with the same specification, it will run the backend, the job in the sense whatever the input you are giving to the match specification, it will take that report and it will simply run the match specification on your input data, and and it will display the results here itself. Once you run the test all process, it will show you the results in the same window. This one, like without calling your match specification inside the job and running the job and see the report. So if you have limited number of volume in your data, better thing is to see how your match specification is working. So you can go to the test all process and you can test your match specification here itself, and once your results are looks okay to you, then you can use this match specification inside your job. That is one of the alternative here we have if you want to test it. Even if it is not working here, you can directly use this match specification inside your job and you can run it. So this is one of the alternative I'm saying. For this, it will need some kind of database connection to store all these match results temporarily in one of the database and to do all this match specification activities and all those things. So we need a kind of connectivity, database connectivity to store all these match results and all those things. So that I will show you here. Test all process we have. Once you click on test all process, it will show you this thing. Please enter the configuration information. Click on configure specification in the toolbar before testing the match process. So what it is saying is, before you go to the test all process, first of all you need to give some configuration, as I told you, like, to which database it has to connect, and what is the username and password for that, and what is the input, like, we need to give to this match specification, and all those things we need to specify it here under the configuration specification bar. That is what it is saying here. So once you click on OK, it will automatically showing you the properties, whatever the properties it need basically to, um, if you want to test the match specification here itself. So this is a kind of unduplicate match stage, unduplicate match, you are seeing it here, unduplicate match which I have selected. So that is the reason why I think before discussing about the match components also, I have told you the unduplicate match stage, it will take one data input, one frequency input. If we have, if you are going with the reference duplicate, it will expect two data links, or two data input links, and two frequency data links with respect to each other. So the same thing here, I'm looking into the unduplicate dependent test environment. So if you look at here, it is enabled only one data input set and one frequency set, right? So if I go for the reference match, this one also will be an enabled state, reference sample data set and the reference frequency data set. Okay, and the maximum frequency value is 100, we are saying, right? So the same thing, if you already generated the frequency file, and if you want to use the whole file to this match frequency set, then simply remove this 100. So what is the importance of this 100? We discussed about, like, while we are discussing about the match frequency stage. So there is a one option, like in maximum frequency value, if you put it 100, so only 100 frequency values it will consider for each and every, like, while doing your testing or whatever it may be. If you want to test the whole set, or if you want to consider your whole match frequency file as your input or kind of thing, then simply disable this one and remove this 100. Then it will consider the whole frequency file, and it will do a comparison or match comparison with your data input set, and it will try to identify what are all matched and unmatched or duplicate or nearest matches and all those difference. And one more important thing is this one, this ODBC data source name, you are seeing it here, right? So as I told you, if you want to test your match specification, um, apart from the job, like, basically you can use this match specification inside the job, and you can run the job and you can see the output report. Apart from that, in the match specification window itself, if you want to test it, it will need a kind of database connection. Basically it will store your input data in some kind of temporary area, and it will do all those match specification related algorithms. It will execute and it will try to identify what are all match, duplicate, and all those things. To do all these things, it need a kind of data source name to store this data temporarily in some location. So this is the database connection which you need to give it here. So this configuration should be done before you start with your match specification or whatever it may be. Right now those guys are haven't done for me, right? So either it should be either the Oracle database or SQL database, whatever we are using, in MySQL or whatever it may be, whatever the database we are using, basically the database connection should be presented here. If they have already configured it, we can simply use this match specification, and if I use my username and password, and then test it. So you have to test your connection. Once your connection is done, just save it and update it. Once you're done with the update, so it will set up all your test database or kind of thing to do all these match specification related stuff. Once you update it and finish it, go back to the test all process now, because we already set up what input data set it has to consider for your match specification, and what is the frequency file it needs, that we already set up here, and the database connection we have already specified it here. So once you're done with the update, that means it will store it somewhere to do, like, all these tests kind of thing. So then if you come back to the test all process, once you click on this test all process, whatever the information you have specified in this window, like data set and frequency data set and all those things, it will use those files. It will run the match specification in the same window. Here it will show you the results. That means how many records you are passing, out of how many records are considered as a matched records. It will assign some kind of set IDs and all those things. And in the similar fashion, it will identify what are all the duplicate records or nearest duplicate records and all those things. You can see it here. So for now, this configuration is not yet done for me to show you how we can run this report from this window itself. So I'm trying to download some kind of Oracle drivers to install on my machine, and I'm trying to do all those configurations. Once I am done with those configuration, I will show you the report from here itself. So meanwhile, for your purpose, what I have done is in the document which I'm going to share you after our training session. This is the document which I'm going to show you. Here I have captured all the screenshots, exact screenshots, how the report looks like. Okay, so for our purpose, I'm just going through all those reports, and I will show you how the screenshots looks like. So the same thing you can see when we configure this, like drivers and all those things. I will try to run it, and I will show you how the windows are looks like. So meanwhile, I just wanted to show you how the windows or how the results looks like in the mass specification. Then we can create one kind of mass specification, and we will use it. So before that, as we are saying, it will try to calculate the weights for your data. For example, if you are receiving, if you are passing 10 records, out of 10 records, it is identifying, like, once you pass this data to your match specification, it will try to identify few of the matched records, few of the non-matched records, few of the nearest matches, kind of thing, right? So how it is identifying those matched or non-matched records. We discussed about the cutoff values. I think in previous session we discussed about the cutoff values. Basically, if your input record weight is falling in between the cutoff value and match value, then we will consider it as a clerical value. And if your input record weight is greater than match cutoff, then we will consider it as a non-matched records. Kind of thing we discussed about the weights. So based upon the weights only, the system will identify what are all the duplicate records, what are all the non-duplicate records, kind of thing. So we are talking about the weights, right? So for each and every record, based upon the algorithms which we have selected, the match test will run one kind of algorithm to identify the weights for each and every record. So here we have two types of weights, positive weights and negative weights. So to calculate the positive weight, this is the formula which is going to be used at the back end, the quality stage or the match stage or whatever it may be, it is going to use this formula log 2 of m probability by u probability. So this is the formula which it is going to use to calculate your positive weight. Disagreement weight is like, this is the formula which it is going to use it. Let me tell you what is this positive weight and negative weight. For example, you are receiving two records. Let's take my name GOPI in first record, and another record you are receiving the GOPIS, or like GOP something is which is not matching to my first record, right? So GOP, and let's assume GOP only you are getting in second record. So if you pass these two records to your match frequency, or like your match, what it will do is, first of all, it will take the first record and it will consider GOPI is the actual one. It doesn't mean like which record is coming in if while you're processing. If the second record is coming in, it will consider the second record first name as a master record or master name or whatever it may be. So that is again depends upon how you are processing the data. Okay, so let's assume out of this GOPI and GOP, let's assume GOPI is coming at very first record. So it will consider GOPI, and it will
Gopi,
bring. Yeah,
sorry, Gopi can write on that notepad so we can understand like how will formula will
sure,
work.
sure, sure.
Thanks.
Let's assume we are talking about the name fields for now for our exam for our understanding purpose. So these are the two records I'm getting. In these two records, the first name is GOPI in one record and another record GOP is one record. So first of all, let's assume GOPA record is coming into your matching now. Okay. Then to calculate the weight for that, it will use this formula log 2 of m probability by u probability. This m and u weights you need to set up. That I will show you like in where we need to set up. The default thing is 0.9 is for m, 0.1 is for the probability, u probability. So these are the default values. If you want, you can override it. For now, let's go with the default values, m probability and u probability. Then your formula looks like, log 2 of 0.9 slash 0.1. Whatever the values you are going to set up there in the m probability, u probability. So whatever the output you are getting out of this one, it will, whatever the weight you are getting, let's say assume, this is also a kind of assume I'm saying, because you need to calculate all these log 2 of 0 0.8, 0.1 or whatever it may be. So let's assume you are getting 0.9 as a value. Then it will assign this 0.9 as a weight for this your input first name field. Okay. Then you are getting GOP, right? See, one record you are done. So the second record is coming in. So it will run all kind of matches, like in the algorithms which we are using. It will try to we will try to run all those match algorithms, and then it will identify. Once you run the match algorithms, it will try to identify. Okay, there is one more record which is GOPA, and now we are getting GOP because those are all matching algorithms. What algorithms we are using, that depends on that. So let's assume GOP is matching to this one. Then it will compare GOPI with GOP. Then it is not an exact match, but it is a kind of a nearest match or whatever it may be, right? So, but if you GOP is it is considering as a master and it is comparing everything which is coming in after GOPI, it will try to compare with GOPI. Now, if you compare GOP with GOPI, then there is some mismatch. That is a kind of negative weight. See, right? So because it is not an exact match. If it is an exact match, it will calculate the positive weight. But it is not matching to your GOPI. Then it will calculate the negative weight for this record. Then the formula is log 2 of 1 minus m something, whatever I showed you, right? So it will calculate that formula. So 1 minus m by 1 minus whatever the formula we have. So it will calculate this weight. Let's assume this weight is around 0.8 or something like that, because it is not an exact match for this your 0.9 or whatever it may be, right? So then it will assign this value to here, and at the end, so you have identified the weights for each and every record, like the record which is coming in at very first, so that for that the record weight is 0.9, and the record which is coming in later onwards, that record weight is 0.8. If you put cutoff values and between 0.9 and 0.8, that I showed you, right, where we need to specify the cutoff values. After that, it will try to apply the cutoff values and it will try to identify the record which is coming into the master record, the record which is coming to the duplicate records or residual records or kind of thing. You understand the concept first of all, like before going to the cutoff values, whatever the cutoff values we are going to specify, that is at the end. At last step, it will apply the cutoff values to identify your records, like as a matched or non-matched or duplicate or whatever it may be. So before that, for each and every record, it will calculate the weights based upon your matching algorithms and the m probability and u probability, whatever you are going to use. So see, it has to compare it, then only it can identify whether it is an exact match or non-exact match. So it need a kind of indication, right? Like GOPI is coming in and it is calculating the weight 0.9, and GOP is coming in, it matched, it is identified as a not an exact match. Then some weight has to reduce, right? Because that is not an exact match to the record which is it is considering as an actual record, right? Because GOPI is coming in, GOP is coming in. When you compare with these two things, the second one is not matching to the first one. So at least it has to reduce some weight, right? Then only, okay, this particular thing is not matching to that one, so that is the reason it is reducing some weight. So if you consider, if you are getting only GO, then it will reduce the weight here 0.8 to 0.7 kind of thing, because it is not a kind of nearest match, like 50% is matching, 50% is not matching, then apart accordingly it will calculate the weights. Okay, you are getting this concept. Don't calculate the weights and all things, just understand. See, if GOPI is coming, GO is coming, so it is not an exact match, then it has to reduce the weight, right? So what formulas it will use, I'm giving it formulas, the weights and all those things, don't calculate it, because like everything will be taken care by your match rule or match specification and all those things. So just understand the concept, why it is giving 0.9, why it is giving 0.7. Even if you are getting 3 records or 4 records or 5 records, that doesn't matter. Based upon your cutoff values, it will try to split it. So while applying the cutoff values, if 2 records are falling under one group, it will put those 2 records in one group, and the other records it will put in another group. That is always depends upon your cutoff weight. So as I told you while we're discussing about the match specification, n number of times you need to run uh, like the match specification on your input data to identify the best cutoff values and best matching algorithms. Because by seeing the data itself, we cannot able to identify what is the best, or like the cutoff weights and all those things. Even your business also cannot able to say like use for my data, use this cutoff values kind of thing, because we need to take a multiple sets of data and we need to run this multiple times and we need to analyze the results. So if I put 0.9 and 0.8 as my cutoff values, and how my data is looks like, whether it is properly placing my matched records into one group and non-matched records into one group or not. If you see any one record, it is placing into a non-matched records, but actually it is a kind of matched record. Then you need to adjust your weights, or at least you need to change your algorithms to fall this particular record into a kind of matched record kind of thing. So this way you need to run multiple times, and you need to identify what is the best record, which is best like in cutoff weights and the match algorithms which can suits your data. So this exercise you need to run multiple times. So while doing your exercise, you can see how the data looks like and how it is placing the data into one group and how it is identifying it as an unmatched records kind of thing, that you can come to know. The same exercise we will do it here. We will, whatever the input data set we are using, by using that input data set, I will run the report and I will show you the results and analyze the results. We will analyze the results and we will see like if we find anything which is not matching, or like actually it is coming in matching, if and kind of thing, we can adjust few values there and we will try to change it and then we will run the report. So that exercise anyhow we are going to do it, but here we need to understand the concept first of all, why it is calculating the negative weight for this one and why it is calculating the positive weight for the first record. Because the first record is coming in, there is no record to match it, so it will read the first record, it will consider it as a matched record, or it is a kind of a proper record, it will consider it and it will calculate the positive weight for that. And when the second record is coming in, so second record, how it is coming in second record, after applying the matched records, if it identifies GO as a matched record, then it will consider GO and it will identify the negative weight for that, because when it compares to GOPI, it is not an exact match. For example, if here also if you are getting an exact match like GOPI, then it will calculate the positive weight for that. It will be like this. So when, why it is calculated the negative weight in the sense, when it compares your input record and the record which is already presented, this is not a kind of an exact match. So then it will calculate the negative weight for that. That negative weight it will keep it here. And later on the cutoff weights will comes into the picture. Then it will identify what all records go to the matched and what all records go to the negative weight and all those things. Okay, so this concept is clear or not? If you guys have any queries, let me know. We will discuss about the concept here itself, and then we can move forward and I can show you how the report looks like and all those things.
It's fine, Gopi.
Yeah. So these are the standard formulas to calculate your positive weight and negative weight. And if you want, you can change the M probability and U probability, but the formula will always remain same. The M probability and U probability only you are going to change it. Like, if you want, you can put 10, or if you want, you can put 20 also. That is again depends upon your business, as I'm saying. So for your business, let's take SSN number is very key point to identify the duplicates. Then that is a very key column for you to identify the duplicates or kind of thing, right? So if something is wrong, see for example, for first record you are getting SSN number as 12345, and for another record you are getting 1235, 4 is missing there. So SSN number is very key point or key element for you to identify the duplicates. So this is a very key in the sense, instead of assigning the default M probability and U probability. M probability is nothing kind of positive and negative, right? So you can specify 40 as your M probability, and if anything is not matching, then you can specify U probability as 20. Then, because it will decide, or it will represent how key the SSN number is for you for your matching. Because if something is exact matching, you are increasing the weight, right? That is a candidate match kind of thing for you. And if anything is not matching, you want to differentiate it, that because the SSN is very important for you, then you can increase your negative weight. Like, if anything is matching, reduce 20% or 30%, and put it a kind of value, because those are the M probability and U probability, whatever I'm saying, those are default one, like 0.9, 0.01, or zero point 0.1 kind of thing. But if you want, you can increase, like, how based upon your business, like, whatever key elements you have, SSN number and last name. Basically these are very key elements to identify your, what I can say, the matched records. So in that case, instead of keeping the zero point 0.9 as a matched one, if you want, you can increase 40 or 50 also, because that is represents your, like, the how important that element for you to do your matching or whatever it may be. So if you want, you can increase 50 and 50 for SSN number and last name. If something is not matching, you can mention the EU probability as, like, 30 kind of thing. So then if even a small change is coming in SSN number or last name, then it will entirely consider those two as a different records. Because the whenever you increase the M probability and U probability, automatically the distance between the matched and non-matched, the weights, the calculation of these, positive weight and negative weight, it is going to be increased, because you are changing the values, right? You are changing the values, between the M probability and U probability. That is very huge, like, 50 you are specifying and 30 you are giving, so in between 20 is the difference. So whenever the distance is keep on increasing, the weights between the positive weight and negative weight, it is going to be changed very, like, considerably. Then what will happen is, whenever a small letter is changing, like in last name is exact same, but SSN number, one small letter is changing, though it will never consider those two as a matched records. Because based upon your importance, like, you have increased the 50 and 30, so even a small change happens, then the calculation will, like, will be huge in difference between these positive weights and negative weights. Okay, that is again depends upon your decision, like, whatever the key elements they are going to ask you to place in your match commands and algorithms and all those things. So this is the place where we are going to select our matching algorithms. So here, when you compare this one here, so whatever the metadata, we are going to use it here, right? So this metadata, whatever the columns, we are going to update it here. The same columns it is showing here in the document. Here, these are the columns. And you have to select your match criteria, whatever the prime probability and U probability I just told you, right? 0.9 and zero point 0.01, these are the default values. If you want, you can change your default values. That will comes here, weight overrides tab here, right? You just follow my mouse pointer, you can see the properties. You have the weights, right? So if you want to override the default weights, then you can go for the weight overrides. Inside this one, you can now give whatever the value you want. So the window, the importance of this window is just you need to select, whatever. See, for example, name is your, um, one of the match column you want to specify. Then here you have name, right? Select name and what type of algorithm you want to apply on this match. Here you can see the list of algorithms. Here you are seeing, right, absolute difference comparison or kind of thing. Here we have couple of algorithms. So basically here you need to select the matching algorithm. So what is the column I need to select for matching? What type of algorithm I want to apply, and what type of weights I need to specify. So this is a kind of window to define your matching. So the column name, the algorithm, and the different the weights. All these things you need to specify. Similarly, state is one of the what I can say the matching key for me. Then I have to select state, and then I have to select the corresponding the algorithm and the weights, and then click on OK. So like this, how many columns I have? So all those columns I need to select it here, and I can give the respective. I can select the respective weights for that. So this window shows, like, the properties, how we can what I can say, how we can define our matching algorithm. So once you define it, under match comments, you are seeing that last name I'm selecting, and the type of algorithm I have selected uncertain, and the data column, the column which I have selected is match primary name. The M probability and U probability is 0.9 and 0.1. This param values we will discuss it later when we are discussing about the properties of the match window and all those things. So M probability and U probability. So it will calculate the weight, and this is the algorithm which is going to use to identify the matchings, and this is the M probability and U probability which is it is going to use to identify or to calculate the weights. Similarly, if I have name, so here we are seeing the second one. So like that, how many columns we have selected, all those columns information you can see it here in the match commands. And the match cutoff values we already discussed. So what is the clerical threshold, and what is the cutoff weight and match weight and all those things. So here the same thing whatever we discussed, I'm just showing it here how the configuration specification will looks like. So once you go to the configuration specification, and then so I have given the each and every like the option which we have here in the configuration window, the actual data set, the input data set, and the frequency data set which is respect to that. And here if you look at here, we are seeing the cutoff, what I can say, the connection name. So like this we need to define our connection name. So right now it is not presented in my machine, so we need to select what I can say, the connection name. So once you select the connection name, here I have given what we need to do is you just click on update it. Once you're done with the update with the configuration and with the input set, and you can go to the test all process. The same thing I have explained here, each step by step with this screenshot, what exactly you need to do. So once you go to the test all process, then it will ask you this window, do you want me to run it kind of thing. So once you click on OK, the results will be like this. Let me highlight this, let me maximize my window. Let me know if you are if you guys are able to see this properly, this graph which you are seeing it here. If you want, I can increase this size again.
One more Zoom. Uh,
Yeah, let me give one thing. Fine now.
yeah, that's fine. You can.
Okay. So here you can see, right? So once I click on test all process after setting my connection name, and it will run whatever the passes you have specified it here. So based upon that, pass is nothing but what type of matching algorithm, what type of cutoff values is selecting, and all those things, right? So even if you have one single pass also, it will run the results and it will show it to you. And this is the blocking criteria which I have selected, and this is the what I can say, the matching algorithms which I have selected, and these are the cutoff values which I have selected. So based upon these cutoff values and matching algorithms and blocking columns, it has run the matching algorithm on my input data set, and it is displaying the results. It's here, and here you can see set id is 4 and set id is 10, set id is 24, right? So set id is 4 is nothing but for 4 records we are seeing the set id is 4. That means all these 4 records belongs to one particular group in the sense all these 4 records are matched records, or like one is the see matched records only, one is the master record and the other three are the clerical records. That means a nearest match to this particular matched records. And here you can see, right, mp and da and mpcp mpda. So these type of record types codes you will get once you run your matching algorithm. So here it is giving set id is 4. That means all these 4 records falling under one group. So set ID is nothing but a kind of group ID. So all these 4 records or 5 records, these are falling under one group. But inside that, one is the master record anyhow. The other 3 records are the clerical records. That means a kind of nearest match. Once you see the regular 10, one is the master record. Always in each group you can see one master record, and all other records which are falling under that group, either those should be either clerical or either duplicate records kind of thing. So one will always be the master record. Okay, so how it will calculate the master record? The thing is, while processing or while applying your matching algorithm, whatever the record which is coming in at very first out of these 4 records or 5 records, that it will consider as a master record. And the all other records which are coming in, it will try to compare the results with the values with your master record values. And if there is any change, it will calculate the negative weights and positive weights kind of thing. It will do all their calculations, and at the end, based upon this matched clerical values, it will define your codes here. So if it is coming in match type, then your code will be 35 or 35 plus, and whatever you're saying clerical records in between 35 and clerical and match in between. Here right now I have specified clerical as 0. Basically, if you consider 25, in between 25 and 35, whatever the record weights you have, or for whatever the records you have in between 25 and 35, all those records will consider as a clerical records kind of thing. So this what we will do is we will do some kind of analysis on this one, like anyhow I'm going to design a job and I'm going to run it, right? So there, if you want, we can change this clerical and cutoff values and we'll see how the results are looks like. For now, just see, if you want to run your match specification in the match specification window itself, you can do that I'm showing you. Like once you run your report in the match specification, this is how the results are looks like. Okay. The same results, whatever the results you are seeing it here, if you place this or if you call this match specification inside a match job, and if you run your job, the same results, whatever the mp cp cp or whatever you're seeing and whatever the set IDs you're seeing, the same results it will put in your what I can say, in your report, the match report output. You can see this is a kind of option which we have here. If we want to run it inside a kind of match specification, before calling that match specification inside a job, there we have this option we have available. So we can simply go through that. You can see the results. And one more thing is, the past definition, you have the past statistics here. Let me show you in our window. We have the past statistics. Once you run your match specification, this past statistics will get enabled. So if you go to that past statistics, this is the information which it is going to show you. Like how many blocks are generated, and what is the, what I can say, total number of records, and what is the blocks process with 305 blocks. So the blocks information, how many records are passed, and how many are matches, and how many are exact matches, and how many are nearest matches. So it will show a kind of a report, consolidated report here in the past statistics. Okay.
Gopi, sorry, actually, I was drop. I have some query. It was a previous slide.
Yeah.
Can you
Let
open that as
let me go through that. Let me go to. Yeah. Yeah, Vinay. Hello. Vinay, are you there?
hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vinay.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are recordings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are record is a set ID, record type width, and data ID is the name. Okay.
Mm.
So there are the two types of data is MP and CP is a master data and this is a critical data.
Yeah.
So there we have the match record is a last name is a see match commands we have given to last name, match first name, house name, this
Yeah.
all six we have give it to.
Yeah.
But once we are going to check this one, they all are the matching completely. There are no difference.
If
If
you
you
go
can
to the
see,
tax ID,
yeah, text ID is see for
sorry, your voice is break. Your voice is breaking, Vinay. Hello. No, due to some network issues, since your voice is lagging. No.
Hello,
Yeah, Vinay, now it is fine. Tell me.
now it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just I want to know there means is it for first and for record they all are the same. So why there difference on between is a weight is a there is 40 and there's 34.
Mm-hmm.
For city ID 4 if you check the first and last record
One
for
moment
city ID 4.
here. One moment here. This is not a complete match thing. See here, this still there are few more inside this match commands. Here, while I am taking the screenshot, only these 4 or 5 are coming in. If you look at here below, there are few more. You are getting what I am saying?
So so okay.
Yeah, this is not full one because we are still seeing the scroll
So
bar,
but
right?
is yeah.
Yeah.
So is the weight is a 40 is a means our formula is give it to is a 80 is a 40%, yeah, as it is 40 is the weight of is a different from the formula. See we have give it to cutoff is a 90% and
Mm-hmm.
80%.
Mm-hmm.
So weight is belong to the cutoff, yeah, it is also different.
Mm-hmm. No, you are asking about the weight and cutoff weight difference between the weights and cutoff weights.
Yes, yes.
No, see, record to record comparison, that 0.9, 0.01, whatever we are giving, right? Those are like, 85% or 90% match kind of thing. There we will have 85% matching, 95% matching concept. So once you specified it there, based upon those values only, it will try to identify the total record weight. So this will not depends upon like 85% matching or 95% matching kind of thing. So the 85% and 95% matching concept will come when it is identifying the set IDs. See, basically the set IDs, what is the importance of the set IDs? So to identify what are all matched records, right? So
Mm,
so while calculating the matched records, you are specifying how it is calculating the matched records again. We have the match algorithms, we have the match cutoff values, zero point 0.9 and zero point 0.1. For example, whatever the zero point 0.9 and zero point 0.1, let's assume 90% is matching, is a kind of match you want to consider. One moment. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is these match cutoff weights, like we are discussing about, right, 80% and 90% is whatever we have. These will comes into picture when it is identifying the weights, like the set IDs and the weights. It is calculating the weights, right? So this weight it is calculating, right, 40.26 or whatever the weight it is calculating, right? How it is calculating the weight. So whatever the columns here you have selected, last name, match name, house number, street name, street service, street tax ID, and all those things, right? So for example, let's assume the first record is coming in. So what it will do is it will consider all matching, all positive weights, and it will use that formula 1 plus what is that formula, log 2 of m by u, whatever the formula we have, it will use that formula to identify the weight for the first record, because there is no record which is matching to that one. So this is very first record, it will use that formula, and it will calculate the weights on for all these 6 columns or 7 columns or whatever we have. And let's assume you got the weight as 40.26. Let's assume that I'm saying 40.26. Now the second record is coming in. It will, for the second record also, it will do the last name, match first name, house number, street name, street suffix type, tax ID, all these comparisons with your match record. This record is already in, and you are getting the second record with the last name, first name. This is the CP record. Here, whatever it is, here you're seeing some kind of differences. Here, tax ID is not at all presented there, right? When it compares, so whatever the tax ID algorithm which you are going to select it here, based upon that, it will reduce the weight for this particular tax ID. But still last name, first name and house number is exact match. It will keep the same formula there, log 2 of m by u formula. But wherever it is seeing the difference, then the second formula will comes into picture. Log 2 of 1 minus m by 1 minus u something is there, right? It will comes into picture. It will calculate the weight. Obviously, you will see the difference in the weight. So accordingly, your weight will get reduced here. You're clear about this one, how it is calculating the weights. So
Okay.
there, if you specify tax ID, for
Yeah.
tax ID, if you specify exact match and the weight is 0 and 0.1, whenever you specify exact match, this is, there is no value at all, first of all, to match it. So completely a kind of negative value, a kind of different formula will get executed. The total weight is going to be reduced here, 27.58,
Okay.
right?
Okay. We code the as a in for the particular group is a how it will be as a differentiate the weight. But
Hmm.
so weight will not go to the 80%, 90%. Yeah, means we have the some limit because that is MP is a master as a data for particular.
Mm-hmm.
So it is
No, your
less
voice is breaking again. When your voice is breaking again. Mm, Vinay? No, I think you're still lagging and okay. Yeah, meanwhile, if you guys have any queries on this one, let me know. Whatever the queries Vinay is asking, if you guys have same queries, you just let me know. We will discuss about that. We are able to hear you, but not very clear, Vinay. The same issue might be due to network
Okay,
issues.
let's continue. I will
Yeah,
ask you later.
now it is clear.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
I
ask.
will ask you later if my question.
No, now it is clear.
No, it's
Why is
I
it
think
clear?
no, but I'm not able to hear you properly.
Oh,
Some
you are
voice
not
is
able
there.
to hear me. Okay. So now it is clear.
You will continue. I will ask you my question later.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm saying is, once you run your match specification inside match specification window, so this particular past statistics, there will be one more tab. This tab will get enabled. What you can do is you can see your report, the data report, how many records you are getting and how many blocks are created based upon the blocking criteria which we have selected, and how many the matched records it identified, how many are exact matches, how many are clerical, that means the nearest matches kind of thing. So it will generate a kind of report, and if you want, you can select it what type of chart type you want it. So basically this is a kind of pie chart. So you're seeing the results here, what is the total percentage, and when the report got generated, and how many records we have the match, and how many records we have the clerical matches. So it's a kind of report. What you can do is you can print this report, and you can share with your manager or whatever it may be. And if you want, you can share these exact results to your business also. Okay, this is a kind of report which is which it will automatically creates for you. You just need to go through that report and see how your results are coming in, and then like if there is any chance of altering your algorithms or the weights, you can simply do that, and accordingly it will generate the report once again. Okay, this is how your report looks like. And if you go down.
Gopi, I have one question regarding what is, if you could go to the previous slide.
Yeah.
Like what is the current, then the baseline value, and then the difference with which it's comparing?
Baseline is like a kind of how many records you are getting. So whatever the algorithms we are going to use it here. So based upon that, it will generate a kind of baseline for you. So there will be some algorithms or kind of thing. It will generate a kind of baseline for you based upon the match algorithms or kind of thing. So for you, once you run it, it is matching only 73, but they are expecting 135 kind of thing. So there are few algorithms are kind of thing to identify your baseline values and all those things, but we are not sure how they are calculating and all those things. But it will show you whatever the current results you are saying, you're seeing it here. Those it will do a comparison, how many duplicate records you are getting, 73 and 135 kind of thing. So we are not sure how they are calculating, how they are putting this baseline kind of thing. So for us, it will generate only the current values and all those things. So we just need to concentrate on these current values. Hello.
Okay.
If you expand that total statistics, whatever you have seen, so it will display all the level of detail, uh, how many records we are getting for each pass. The first pass name is for me the name and street, and the second pass name which I have given is name and post box. So for each and every pass level, it will show you the values. The consolidated values are here, but each and every pass, I have two passes in my matching algorithm or this match specification. So this is the first pass and this is the second pass related information. So like this it will show you. Yeah, these are all different types of matching algorithms which we have inside this match specification. These we are going to see anyhow once we are going to design our match specification. Inside this match specification, when I click on add, so here whatever the match specifications we have, these are the different types of matching or comparison algorithms available here inside in our quality stage. So based upon our requirement, I need to select which comparison I want to apply on my data. So you can simply select that, and if once you click on OK, so that will get add here in the matching algorithms. So these are the different types of algorithms available in default with in quality stage to do the comparison. If you want to check the comparison, how many characters are differentiating kind of thing, then you can go with difference. And if you go with if you are getting the kind of string value, last name kind of thing, and if you want to do the character comparison, then character by character it will compare it. So basically for all string types and last names kind of thing, we will go with the character comparisons. So we have a number of things, but the the important ones, what are all important ones, and in which scenario we will go with the character and count differentiates. So there will be around 7 to 8 mostly we will use those. I have specified it here with the importance, in what scenario we have to select character and count difference and date kind of things. So very few which we are going to use mostly. So about that I have specified it here. So the actual exercise, we can do it while designing the math specification. I will show you how to select the math specification and what is this cutoff value. If you want to change it, what is the weight over rates window, this is the window which we have. So all these things we will discuss while we are discussing about the actual the discussion, the creation of or to define the math specification, and then how to use this specification inside the job. So when we are doing the exercise, then I will explain all these things, whatever the comparison types we have, and how to define the mass specification, how to use it. All these things we will see. So now we are clear about these things, how we what we have it here. This is a kind of input and this is the pass, and in each pass we have the blocking, matching, cutoff values. And here remove pass, test all passes we have seen. Configuration specification we just now explained why we need match at the configuration specification. There you need to give your input file and input frequency file and your data connection name and all those things. So you have to specify it here. This one is show pass holding area. For example, if we have 5 passes and if you don't want to execute the second pass or third pass, what you can do is you can simply select that and you can put here in the pass holding area. Then what it will do is while executing your specification, it won't consider the pass which you mentioned here in this pass holding area. So basically, if you define, this is a case like, if you define 5 passes or 6 passes, and while you're testing, if you don't want to consider any one of the pass, if you want to hold it without execution or to not execute kind of thing, you can simply put that into your max pass holding area. Then whatever the passes you are specifying it here, those passes it will not consider for your match specification while it running the reports and all those things. Okay, so these are the main mostly used main important um, properties we have inside this match specification. This total statistics enable once you run your once you specify your configuration, once you run test all passes, this total statistics will comes into picture. This is we just seen in our Word document also, how many records you are getting, how many records are getting standardized kind of thing. So it will show all those things here in this total statistics tab. Okay, so tomorrow what I will do is I will take the data and I will import the data here and I will define one math specification and I will define the my math specification and the blocking and the cutoff values, and we will run the report and I will show you the report and we will discuss about that report. So we can change from unduplicate dependent to unduplicate independent kind of thing, and we will see how the results are varying and the impedance of the unduplicate dependent, unduplicate independent, and duplicate transitive also we will discuss tomorrow. So we have 3 different types of match types in the unduplicate dependent. So these 3 types and how the functionality is varying, that we will discuss it, and tomorrow we will see an example with the unduplicate match specification. So we will analyze the results and we will try to understand the concept. So once that is done, then we will move on to the reference match specification. Okay, so in today's session, if you guys have any queries, you just let me know. We will discuss all those things, and if not, tomorrow we will consider we will try to design a match specification and we will discuss about that.